I do not want to make you sad, but the world is ending, so it is best we prepare for a new way of living. And that's why we're playing Stalker, Shadow of Chernobyl. Your favorite deity weeps like a pathetic little baby on a truck going well above the legal speed limit. The driver was rooming so fast it melted this guy's skin off and made his head do bouncy wobbles. Abruptly, karma comes as Chris Hemsworth throws lightning onto the truck, jamming all my confidence in the safety of Faraday cages and the staff involved in Marvel Productions. Darkness now happens. Ooh. Daytime arrives and a man seemingly running through custard excitedly rushes towards the crashed truck. He touches dead bodies like a weirdo until one man wakes up and he says,
"This one seems to be alive. What a lucky guy."
Custard Boy picks him up and hobbles off awkwardly to ask his parents if he can keep the man and call him Lucky. That man was me. I was the lucky boy. I was delivered to a man chomping on a leg of a dinosaur, maybe. He dramatically said,
"It's got the mark."
Which I thought was a bit invasive as the world has gone to poo country and fresh underwear was difficult to find. It's a very mature line. It's a very mature line that I just said. Meat Man gets excited and they dump my body on the table and steal my Pokedex. It says I was hunting a pocket monster called S.T.A.L.K.E.R, which must be a new one. I hoped it wasn't something stupid like haunted ice cream or something. I am the table man. I wake up and a guy with a face like aggressively melting pudding says I owe him for saving my life. He said he can put things in me to give my brain a wash or just treat me like a real stalker and simply give me a mission. This guy had the wrong idea. The only thing I had ever stalked was the buffet section in a Pizza Hut. Still, I had nowhere to go, yet remained impatient, so I just silently demanded a mission. Jabba wanted me to find another stalker called Nimble. Nimble was carrying important information, and important information is important, so he wants it. It was important. He said Nimble disappeared somewhere near the bridge, and that I should talk to a guy called Wolf, because he may know stuff. I go up the stairs and leave the hole in the ground. I immediately run into a man with bad face painting and then speak to Wolf in the nearby camp. He says some stuff about bad people and shows a concerning lack of faith in my big muscles. I say I'll kill all the bad people so he can sleep all comfy, then he radios some guy and tells him to expect my big muscles. Before I left, I stared at a guy playing guitar around a fire, which was nice, but he had mouth movements like a sheep eating grass. Was he a sheep? I took a gun, a medkit, vodka, and more stuff out of a chest and headed out to brave the dangers of this world for the very first time. It wasn't long before I started questioning my decision. I noticed some odd blurry dancing ghosts or something, and then a guy with a tummy ache writhed in agony on the ground. If he was being attacked by ants, he probably deserved it. Ants don't do aggression without good reason. Like that time they marched into that dentist office and slowly ate him with his own teeth because he farted on their dirt hill that morning. Or did I dream that? The owie, my tummy man asked for a med kit that was on a nearby body. The closest body did not have any such thing on it, and the next one I saw was guarded by dogs. So I shot them, they got scared and jumped up to my safe place. I tried shooting the dogs from far away, but the guy would not shut up.
Help me, brother. Take the med kit off the stiff. I can't reach it.
So I put a bullet into his face and got called the worst stalker ever, which did not help my self-esteem, but I refused to stand in a bush chuckling and scaring girls like some stupid incel bitch. That is not a lifestyle worthy of chasing. Those subhuman ghouls can f***ing fuck off in a f***ing van of fire and do a backflip into Satan's puckered f***ing anus. Upon further regretful inspection, the creatures were more like angry baked potatoes than dogs, and some even bigger and scarier thing charged out of the trees and made me do a runaway. But not before I killed a potato, ripped off his tail, and then looted this guy and ate his diet sausage. I skipped enthusiastically towards some men on a hill. He turned around with a shotgun and I got itchy fingers and made my stick go bang. Thankfully, I was an awful shot and the guy survived to tell me he was actually the guy Wolf radioed earlier. I asked him how many bandits were in the camp nearby and he counted up to 7 or 8. What a smart young man. He told me they're keeping Nimble inside against his will, which made me jealous. I wish I had a man called Will to cuddle me in times of stress. I told him and his merry men to come with me as I would rather use them as bullet shields and take the credit. Everybody looks like sheep. It makes sense. I killed one guy with the power of my murder and then accidentally shot my new friend in the face, but he didn't mind. What a nice man. I saw another man walk like a space crab. I did a firefight and hurt people who probably deserved it. I climbed a ladder in an attempt to flank them. Big, powerful brain. I found Nimble kneeling down and looking sad. I shot the last guy who was guarding him like a hero. I was a hero. I looted every corpse and got a new shotgun. I called my shotgun Vishtoffelkerbombombooperb, which is the language of the moon wizard. Subscribe and follow his teachings. I saved Nimble, who thanked me quickly before I tore off his face and put it on my chest and danced around like an incomplete skin totem. I asked if he had the flash drive with the important information on it, and he said yes, because his captors were very dumb and did not put their hands in deep enough to check. He gave me the drive and now my hands smelt like his inside bits. Was this worth it? My gun killed Nimble accidentally and I ate his sausage. Bad gun. I went back to the man who looked like he rubbed his face against burning candles for sexual pleasure and gave him the flash drive. He gave me money. He then told me about a stalker who goes by the name of S.T.A.L.K.E.R, who was the name on my Pokédex from earlier. Apparently he was claiming to have found a path into the northern reaches of the zone. This was what was known as a virgin area, which means it's a gold mine for shiny things. Not a place that gets given to very stupid men when they do bastard behavior and feel entitled to stick their repulsive smell worms in all the trees and all of the birds. He said he could help me find this S.T.A.L.K.E.R in return for me doing more jobs. I said it was a deal because I needed structure in my life or I would just spend the whole video running around in the woods screaming. He also mentioned something about a place where your brain starts boiling and I was just generally trying to avoid that. My mission was to go to the research institute and acquire a briefcase with something special in it and deliver it to some guy called the barman who was probably stood behind some bar somewhere. I was told where I needed to go would have big time radiation, so I should drink vodka to forget the pain or take anti-rads to heal the owie. Wanting to be as safe and prepared as I could be bothered to be, I walked back into the nearby camp and asked if anybody would sell me more vodka and stuff, but this guy just gave me a jellyfish. How long did he have that in his pocket? I ventured out of the camp and got attacked by baked potatoes. Shotgun good. Moon wizard blessed shotgun. I saw a depressed dog taking a poo and then approached a man in a hat.
I suggest you take off before we get angry.
He got angry face and said the area behind him was off limits. I found this odd as he also said I could still pass if I gave him 500 money. He smelt like naughty, so my gun kissed him in the face, which very much upset his friends. There were too many of them, even for my big muscles, so I dodged and ran away like a very slippery man. On the other side of the blockade, I found another man with a tummy ache, but this time I gave him a med kit after reading about this phenomenon called empathy. I spoke to Woody Harrelson and asked him if he knew anything about this S.T.A.L.K.E.R character I was hunting. He began regaling a tale of how he told him to f*** off once, but then we were attacked by dogs and he fell into a wall. I could not get him to return to his story after dealing with the rabid canines. It was like his brain gave up. This is what I get for trying to be nice. So I dealt with him. I left and ran into a different human who told me not to go into a tunnel in dark places, and now I really wanted to go into a tunnel in dark places. Further ahead, there was another blockade, but without people. No, wait. It had people. Until we did a tremendous battle with many sounds of pop, pop, bang, bang, boom, and I narrowly emerged victorious. Which means I killed them pretty good. But then somebody was leaking red out of me, so I bandaged a hole and it stopped. I have no answers. Must be God stuff. I was rewarded with a new shooty stick.
Hand it over or we'll blow your head off. I've got no money! No artifacts!
I saw some bandits demanding things from some poor guy, so I helped him out with my shiny new weapon. But he died too. But he died happy. And that's all that matters. I found a place with lots of garbage and a man with a mustache. You can trust men with mustaches 50% of the time. If the mustache is thinner than an HB pencil, then he is not to be trusted and you should engage escape measures immediately. Fortunately, this man had mad lip bush, so I listened to him tell me his group was attacked by bandits and that they would be back any second to finish the job. I offered my assistance. Not out of niceness, but because he promised me stuff. I liked stuff. We carefully picked our ambush spots and waited for the bandit bastards to get closer. and then we failed straight away. But I was embroiled in another scuffle now and needed to defend myself before they stabbed my toes off and tried licking behind my eyeballs. It was tense, and at one point I shot a man in the head and he went. Eventually, I overcame, and I won. There were only 2 of us left now, and the only living bandit may prove a valuable source of information about roller coasters or something. So we kept him alive. Never mind. I looted many shiny, including a new weapon. Another one. It was like Christmas, but with less disease and dead people. Me and my new friend. We were going to be alright. Perhaps we could build a new life together. In a bog. With chairs. Or not. This fight was not over. Until I decided that it was and slowly walked away. I escaped into more bandits that were swarming the nearby building, which was just... I was not having a good day. It had turned out to be quite the shit. There were so many people, it was like watching the sperm doing angry dancing towards the egg. I was weak and slow. I was bleeding and used up my final med pack. I dropped some weight and that helped a bit, but the dream of vaulting over a beached whale seemed so distant. I shuffled into the building and met people that could help me repel the bandit storm. I found a grenade in my pocket and hurled it in the direction of bad guys. We battled and we won. Because of me. Probably. I was very influential. Subscribe. This guy asked to chat to me who turned out to be the reincarnation of one Woody Harrelson. He told me about S.T.A.L.K.E.R stash nearby just before people shot at us again, which shut him up and he wouldn't speak of it further. I got fed up and I left, but fed up lead right into the front lines of assault. There were a lot of enemies and many were huddled together like the Power Rangers would do if they didn't have their big metal robots and just wanted to be inside each other and cuddle a bit. I killed them all and took their sausages and bang carrots. I found a dancing jellyfish on the ground because apparently this was just a normal thing here.
Hey! The military are about to destroy Mole's group!
Further ahead, some guy shouted at me about saving a mole and his mole people, and their metal birds flew over dramatically, steaming my eyes and letting me see the big fight that was happening just up the road. I strolled in pretty casually and shot at my people. I climbed a ladder for height advantage like a giraffe would have, but then barely did anything anyway, so what was the point? I could have just gone around. Then a mole in a human skin jacket thanked me for my help, even though I didn't really do anything, and asked me to follow him to his big mole hole in the ground that he said I was looking for. He said it was where S.T.A.L.K.E.R was sighted and his stash would be down there somewhere. I thought about questioning just getting into a hole because a stranger told me to, but instead just did it anyway, because people kept shooting me above the ground and I was getting sick of all the negativity. Inside the hole, it was dark and creepy. And people started shooting at me. Why are people like this? I killed them better than they killed me, so they can shut up now. I battled another man on some stairs who fancied himself a naughty and then descended further into a bizarre world of bubbly green creepiness. I crept through the dark, careful and alert. I heard a bone-chilling roar that did not sound human. I carried on the careful train until I spotted it. It was a monster that did not know how to finish the consumption of spaghetti. I could just sneak past it, right? Why would I need to engage in such a risky conflict? Wrong. It attacked and I unloaded so many bullets into its angry little body, but it was 87% sponge and turned invisible sometimes until it died and left me the f*** alone. Then a cheeky little rascal poked his head out to see the bother. A scoundrel. I chased the man and ran into more men being naughty. I killed them all without mercy. Every single one of them. And then I listened to this guy beg for his life. If he wanted to not be hurt, why did he try to hurt me? I decided to be the bigger man and spare him by shooting him in the face. I continued my fight for an army of unrelenting foes in tense moment after tense moment. I climbed at least 7 stairs before walking into a hallway with super creep vibes. Some weird thing kept putting his hand in the air and making my head hurt. I tried running toward him, but he just kept teleporting behind me. He was a bad son of a bitch, but with perseverance he died just like the rest. And he looked like a sad potato. I was uncovering the theme. Potato. I looked in a hole and climbed a ladder to discover S.T.A.L.K.E.R's cache. It was an okay stash. It even had a chair. I calmly removed a wooden obstacle to pick up something which smelt important and promptly f***ed off. It was time to leave the dark and return to the sky. Things were easier up there after all. I climbed up a ladder and directly into an army base. They cuddled me with many bullets until I fell over and died a little. This was some bull poo and a very unpoetic way to end my life. End. Oh my goodness, look at you. You made it to the end of the video. Thank you very much for that. Why don't you subscribe if you haven't already? It's a great way to grow the channel. And tell me what you think of this video and if you want to see more stuff like this. I'll see you all next time. Moon Wizard bless us.